Welcome back. In today's video, we are going to talk about Hades and the realm of the dead. Okay, so by now you know that I love Greek mythology. It is probably my favorite mythology out there. And if you don't know that, then where have you been? Under a rock? Come on now. So in previous videos, we have talked about Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades' rise to power, how they drew lots for domains and all that. You can go check those videos out. But today, we are going to focus on Hades and his realm. So Hades was the god of the underworld and the dead. Now, when people think of Hades, they usually think of him as this grim, scary god that drags people down to the underworld to suffer for eternity. Well, that's not entirely accurate. Let's talk about the guy himself first. Hades was actually a pretty chill god. He wasn't really into the whole drama thing like his brothers were. He didn't really cause any trouble. He didn't start any wars or anything. He was just kind of a quiet, reserved god who liked to keep to himself. He wasn't really into ruling over the living, so he didn't make many appearances up there. He was much happier in the underworld with his wife Persephone and their dog Cerberus. Now, the reason why Hades was kind of scary was because of the nature of his domain. The underworld was a pretty scary place. It was dark and gloomy and full of monsters. And Hades was the one who kept order there. He was the one who decided who went to Elysium and who got to roam the earth as a ghost. He was also the one who punished the dead for their sins. Now, it wasn't all bad though. If you were a good person when you were alive, then you got to go to Elysium when you died. It was like a big party. There was food and drink and music and dancing. It was the best place to be, at least if you were a dead person. But if you were bad when you were alive, then you got to go to Tartarus. It was cold and dark and wet, and there were all kinds of horrible creatures there, like the three-headed dog Cerberus, who guarded the entrance to hell. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, that doesn't sound very fair. Why should I be nice when I am alive if I am just gonna go to hell when I die anyway? Well, that's a very good point, and I would have to agree with you. But this is just how things were done back in the day. People believed that if they weren't good, then they would be punished after they died. And I guess that was supposed to encourage them to be good. It didn't always work, though. Sometimes people were just plain mean, even if they knew they'd be punished for it. Now, Hades wasn't really to blame for this. He was just the guy who carried out the punishments. He didn't make the rules, he was just the ruler of the underworld. But even so, he got a bad rap. Most people didn't even know who he was, but they were terrified of him anyway. They thought he was this evil god who kidnapped women and took them to hell, and that wasn't entirely wrong. Hades did have a thing for kidnapping women, but he didn't take them to hell. He took them to his palace in the underworld. He wasn't really into torturing people. He was more into living a comfortable life. And what better way to live a comfortable life than to have a bunch of hot women around you? Now, most of the women he kidnapped weren't too happy about it, but that didn't bother Hades. He was just doing what he wanted and he didn't care what other people thought of him. Well, except for his wife, Persephone. She was the only one who really understood him and she loved him dearly. Now, the story of how Hades and Persephone met is a little bit sad. Hades had to kidnap her, too. She was only 9 years old when he took her away from her mother, Demeter, who was the goddess of the earth. But Hades wasn't really into little girls. He was more into grown women. So he gave Persephone a magic potion that made her an adult. Then he married her and took her back to hell with him. Persephone was sad at first because she missed her mom, but Hades made her happy. He gave her all the power and glory that came with being the queen of hell, and she ended up loving her new home. But that didn't stop her dad, Zeus, from making a big stink about it. He was mad that Hades had kidnapped both his daughter and his sister, and he made war on him. Now, this could have been a real problem for Hades, but he had a secret weapon, his invisibility helmet. It was a powerful artifact that made him invisible to everyone, and he used it to escape from Zeus's wrath. He was never seen again, except by Persephone, of course, and a few other people who were worthy. And that, my friends, is the story of Hades and the realm of the dead. What do you think? Do you think Hades got a bad rap? Let me know in the comments below. Also, please like and share this video if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and stay safe, all of you.